Hi, my name is Arden Kaywin, and I'm a voice teacher and vocal producer in Los Angeles. And I'm going to talk today a little bit about the idea of breath support and some things that tend to trip up inexperienced singers about how they use their breath and how they can have their breath work for them a little bit more efficiently. So most of the time when a singer takes a breath, they take a breath. And the phrase, take a breath, I really don't like because it implies a violence. It implies, which is a very kind of tense and violent thing. And tension is the enemy of the singer. So what I like to say is let the breath come in, and I want you to feel the breath coming in to the lungs in your back rather than the part of the lung that's in the front. So if I stand up, and if you can see my shirt, as I breathe in, I'm going to expand into my lungs, and you'll see me expand. So there I go expanding, and you can see that I haven't contracted anything. Everything here is still really floating and buoyant, even though I'm talking to you. Most singers make this mistake. So I'm going to let it go. When they breathe in, and then they go to sing and exhale, they do this. Ah! And they take their ribs, and they whack them in. You see that? They go from being nice and expanded to being totally contracted in 1 second. And that's often why singers feel really out of breath, because the lungs are covered obviously by the bones of the ribs, and the ribs are some of the heaviest bones in the body. And so when a singer uses their ribs to push the air out of the lungs, it's taking all this weight of these heavy bones and crushing it down on your lungs and whacking the air out. And then you're out of breath really quickly. That's not correct breath support. It's not correct way to use your breath for singing. Rather, what we want to do is we let the ribs float out when we take the breath. So the ribs expand to make room for the air in the lungs, expanding the lungs. And then when we go to make sound, we suspend the ribs and we use the muscles in the lower abdomen, obliques, all of this here to engage and move the air rather than the ribs moving the air. So when I do it correctly, it looks like this. Okay? Rather than and you hear how it changes my sound when I whack my ribs in, okay? So an exercise that you can do for this, first of all, is hold on to your ribs like this. And first see if you can send your breath into your hands. So take a nose breath and just let your ribs expand into your hands. And let it go. And just be aware that you're not getting all up here. Notice how when I do it, this doesn't move. This is peaceful. Rather than this. And you can see the veins popping out in my neck, right? So send the breath into your back and stop your inhale when you feel like it's starting to get high. If it's tension and starting to move high up here, then you're over breathing. You'll have plenty of breath if you just send it here. So we do, and let it go. And just feel your hands contracting and expanding with the lungs in the back and the ribs in the back. And let it go. And then what we're going to do is I want you to imagine that you have a string, an imaginary string, coiled up in your mouth. And we're going to take our hand and we're going to pretend that we're going to pull this imaginary string out as we exhale on a hiss. So the order of operations is going to be breathe into your back, feel your ribs expanding, keep the ribs buoyant, use your lower support to start moving your air, and exhale on a hiss, and it will be and you're going to keep going. You're going to keep pulling this breath out until you're comfortably out of breath. Then you're going to let the breath drop in again, and you're going to do it again. And you're going to do this a couple of times. Now, the idea of being comfortably out of breath means you're not here, okay? Comfortably out of breath means You're ready to breathe again, but you haven't gotten into contractions and tension of being really gasping for air, okay? The idea for this exercise not only is to get into the habit of letting the ribs expand and then starting to move the air from the lower support rather than whacking the ribs in like before, and then also connecting brain to breath and understanding as you hiss, where are you in your airstream? When you're about midway done, your arm should be about halfway extended. When you're all the way done, you should be here. If you find yourself doing this, and you're here forever, it meant that you had more breath than you thought you did. So I need you to connect your brain to your breath so that as you're flowing, you're constantly, where am I? Where am I? How much do I have? How much do I have? Until I'm comfortably out of breath. Then I let the breath drop in, I release the ribs, I expand, I engage my lower core, and I hiss again. Okay? So that's the first thing that we're going to do to sort of help you to understand the idea of letting the ribs be buoyant and not using the ribs to move the air, but rather using the lower sense of support here to move the air. And these stay engaged the whole time. It's not like you do and then they fizzle out, right? They have to stay strong and engaged the whole time. They're not pushing in. It's just they go from being flabby muscles to being strong, and they stay strong the entire time that you hiss until you let the breath come in again. They relax, and then you hiss again, and they're engaged the entire time. The other exercise that I want to do is a counting exercise. And this is just something that you can do to start to let the breath come in more naturally rather than grabbing a breath, which is also a terrible habit of a lot of inexperienced singers, is we grab breath like I was talking about at the beginning, going, and that's just tension, right? Rather than opening and letting the breath come in, okay? So what I want you to do is you're going to do the same setup as we did before. You're going to let the ribs expand, you're going to let the breath come in, and then instead of a hiss, what we're going to do is we're going to count from 1 to 10 in a full sort of theater kind of voice. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a full voice, okay? And then we're going to continue to count from 1 to 10, but under our breath, we're going to cycle from 1 to 10, 1 to 10, as many times as we can do until we are comfortably out of breath. And you may end on 3, you may end on 6, it doesn't matter. Then you're going to let the breath drop in again, and this time you're going to count 1 to 10 2 times in your full stage voice, and then keep cycling 1 through 10, 1 through 10 after that until you're out of breath. Then you let the breath come in again, and you cycle 3 times in a full voice, 1 through 10. So I will do as an example. You may have less breath capacity than me. You may have more breath capacity than me. So just because I stop and I breathe again doesn't mean that you may necessarily be ready to do that. But this is just an example of how it works. So I'm going to stand up so you can see. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I keep going, and you would do 3 full voice and then keep cycling, and 4 full voice and then keep cycling. Just to sort of feel what it's like to be expanded and use that lower sense of support in a talking sort of pedestrian manner. So if you have any questions, you can visit my website, which is ardenkaywinvocalstudio.com, and I have a contact section there. You can email me. I'm based in Los Angeles, so if any of you are out here, feel free to come give me a call and take a lesson and answer this post with any questions that you have. I'm happy to be of service. Take care.